Yo, this is your boy, the OmegaKatana here, and here's my good old friend Alex here. And yes, and today I'm using this for my recording for my Raspberry Pi. So suspect some little problems here and there. Like my headphone jack ain't working properly, so it's kind of all the output audio is coming out from my TV set. So that's not a big problem. But how's it going, Alex, on your end?
It's good, long week at work, the usual shit, really.
Yep. I know some long stuff at work though, because when I used to work at McDonald's, like long, exhausting
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be hectic, man. Like seriously, when you're working at long days, you get these annoying. Your bosses annoy you. The You got horrible customers that wants to especially like the Karens, like they want to scream at you and complain about every small thing.
Yeah.
Like they suspect like some first class treatment, like you're in a first class 5-star restaurant, even
Yeah.
though it's a McDonald's,
Know
which
what
I
you mean?
cannot stand.
Yeah. But yeah, my week was not like that. Just kind of it was kind of a crawl, really, due to a lighter than usual workload. Like, you know how it is where sometimes you're expecting to do the normal amount of work, but sometimes what you're doing kind of ends up being a lighter than usual. And so the hour kind of grows into a crawl because it's like, not as focused as you normally would. So I didn't have any of those kinds of problems, but yeah, just kind of just slow to a crawl kind of work weeks, but not really on that level of frustration. So
Yeah, I get those days as well, dude. And here's the solid Spectre. What's good, my man? And yes, first, even though we're just starting here, and thanks for your patience because I had to cook dinner and I had to stop the stream because there's no pause on the stream
yeah.
on StreamYard. And right now I'm just like get advertising the stream right now. So still stay with me because it's going to be a good one. I'm fine right now. I'm just like getting ready to share with you guys on Canapa's Crunchyroll thread and article. Yes, they finally did. Canapa of the Canapa Effect, the famous anime YouTuber, not VTuber, anime blogger, YouTuber, journalist that's famous for his anime articles, and especially fun facts about the anime industry. But this time, dude, he did a great job on it. I'm just going to talk about this today, and I'm going to invite Matt Whedon on here.
I'm not familiar with them, especially since the word journalist kind of usually has me alarm bells go in my head. But if he's one of
Yeah.
the good ones, I'm fine with that. Especially if he's not actually doxing people, like what happened with the Five Nights at Freddy's creator.
Oh yeah. I don't agree with this right wing stuff, but seriously, over different political opinions. This is why my dad keeps telling me, Keely, don't blog or talk about or get involved in politics because of stuff like this happening.
Yeah. So, but if it's
Cancellations, getting harassed and all this drama. This is why I tend to be politics free, especially
Mhm.
on the podcast. I try to keep it all out of the internet. And I don't care if you donate to any political group, as long as you give me and my audience respect, that is fine.
right, so same. I could say the same for journalists. If it's like if you're doing your job and doing it correctly, by all means, I'll hear it. And in this case, well, Crunchyroll getting into hot water. Not exactly, well, news, although this is definitely news from what you've are trying to bring to attention.
Yup. Yes. Still trying to invite people because basically, copy, like, still trying to invite, blah, 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 Facebook.
So for context, this guy, he basically delved into the rabbit hole and he found out what's been going on over in the old Crunchy, has he?
Yup.
Yeah. Yeah, for the record, I don't have a subscription to Crunchyroll. I never saw the point, especially if it. I mean, if it was all going to the actual creators, sure, but for me, it was just like one extra expense that I was trying to avoid. I only ever used Crunchyroll if it was for an anime that I was having trouble finding everywhere else. Like
Yep.
not like the last thing I watched from them was Garden of the Sinners, which is basically like a series of
Type Moon?
movies. Yep, Type Moon. It was one of the prototype stories for what would become Fate Stay Night.
I thought Tsushihime.
I would say it was one of them.
It's Tsushihime.
Yeah.
I believe. Oh, it's like Tsushihime.
Yeah, I think his earliest one was the one where King Arthur was, was his correct gender, and the protagonist who was a girl. But
Yeah.
I do recall reading somewhere that both that and Sinners was like one of the prototypes before it eventually became it, to the point where it became its own thing after a while. I would like to see an anime adaptation of what could have been with the original concept.
Yeah. Same here, dude. Like, I'm so busy, like, trying. You can still keep talking. I'm still trying to like bring people in here. So it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Oops,
Understandable.
Wrong. Oops. Oh gosh, this is a nightmare.
Technology, folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, between all the other various Fate shows that exists, I would like to see, a version of that initial prototype, with Arthur being a dude, the protagonist being a chick, see how that works, even if it's even if it is opposite genders and isn't not that different, I'm fine with that. Uh-oh, there goes my sister passing by.
Yeah, we got 4 guests right now. They're just like chilling in the background and right now, and what Solace Spectre says, same. I even keep anime politics like dubs, subs, best girl out of it. Exactly. Fan discussions like certain like dubs versus subs, waifus, husbandos, plot elements or story details.
Yeah,
Behind the scenes stuff. That's different between like actual politics, like right wing, left wing, religious, personal views. Keep that stuff out of the fandoms, man. No one wants to hear about that stuff unless it revolves around the topic you're talking about. But I tend to try to stay away from that.
Yeah.
Because we don't care about that stuff at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's just, we're just here to be entertained, not to be preached on like political spectrums, Metal Gear Solid style, okay?
Yeah,
we don't care about that.
If it's relevant,
but we do care about how Crunchyroll's about to get just got exposed like 2 to 3 nights ago.
Ooh.
That would be really interesting. So,
yeah, I prefer it when it's like relevant to the given story or subject. Like Gundam, you can always approach that from different angles. And Shin Godzilla is more of a satire allegory, so it works there.
Yeah. Alex, is that the 2014 Godzilla?
Yes. I was scrambling for what from one of the previous streams that I went into for what I wanted for. What?
I'm just talking to myself. My phone's acting all slow.
Oh.
Like a
Yeah, so I was like, it was on a previous stream, one of the previous streams where I was kind of scrambling for a profile picture, and I saw that, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it. I have it on hand, might as well, so I don't go looking for all over the place. And I've just kind of used it since. Yeah. I guess while we wait, I guess we could do like a pick of the week thing where, like kind of like what Micah Curtis does on his streams.
Yeah.
In this case,
I don't tend to collect figurines. Oh yes, I do. Gunpla. I tend to collect. And speaking of Gunpla, before we begin, I just got this my brother gave me the V Gundam SD model kit. He just picked out a random one, and he didn't know that I kind of like the V Gundam, the new Gundam, not the new Gundam from Char's Counterattack. It's an SD model, but I really enjoyed the gift he gave me.
Yeah, I prefer the master grades, but yeah, if a different model were to come by me by gift, I wouldn't mind building it. Speaking of building, I'm still stuck on my full armor Gundam from Thunderbolt. I need to go back to that. It's just been sitting there on my it's been sitting there on my desk for months, unfinished.
Yeah. About the age, I don't tend to go about my age that much, but according to like Solid Spectre, I'm in my late 20s. Let's keep it that way.
As for me on my end, well, I recently I technically have not finished it. I'm working on it, but I've been reading the. I know you're not a big fan of it, but I have one of the. I know you're not a fan of it as a video game, but I have been reading the manga spin-off to it. I only have one out of the 4 volumes, so I had to go look the rest of it up. It's Monster Hunter Orage. I don't know.
It's Omake.
Yep, and it was drawn and written by Hiro Mashima. You know, of fairy tale fame.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. It's pretty standard. You know, standard shonen fare. You know, you got the loudmouth, over enthusiastic protagonist. You've got the pink-haired tsundere. You've got the demure chick. You've got the stoic rival dude. Even though the protagonist one doesn't really interact with him until way later. So it's pretty much a pretty standard, bog standard shonen tale that's like 4 volumes long. That's a spin-off set in the MH universe. So it's not the greatest thing in the world, but it's not the worst either. It's just a pretty straightforward little tale with both monsters from the game, including ones that Mashima made up for in the manga specifically. So it's a quick read, not that long, 4 volumes, like I said, and it's fine. I think there's one other manga that was made by a different guy, but I can't remember the name of it. And I also picked up the first volume of that Transformers manga that Viz Media has been releasing, which apparently has never been released stateside like ever until now. So I look forward to getting to that once I finish Orage, however you say it.
Oh, yeah. So the reason why you asked that, because you're like the youngest guy in the group. So I'm wondering, because I'm the youngest members of the Knights of the Anime Table Otaku Squad, age 18. Some people got to start somewhere. Haven't been involved with the internet since till I was 21, believe it or not. Till like a year or 2 after I graduated high school, I started getting involved with internet fandoms and whatnot. And yo, versus Noctis, how's it going, man? It's going to be a good one, because Crunchyroll, I'm going through like Kanapa effects like topic on the whole what he discovered due to his journalism about Crunchyroll and whatnot. And I just sent, oh boy, let's just if it allows me to share my screen, it's going to be a good one. So I just sent Matt Whedon an invite, and it'll take him a while till he gets to his DMs, and he'll be involved in here, and it's going to be fun, man. I just got a DM the other day I missed while I was cooking dinner, and oh boy.
Crunchyroll got dirty laundry exposed.
Yeah, dirty laundry indeed. Dude, I'm about to pull this up right now to my bookmarks. And for those who are skeptical of Crunchyroll, all I have to say is that they are right. Big time. Yes, I do. Saul Spector says, remember when Crunchyroll was about to be bought by Sony? Yes, it got stopped by the U.S. government because if it would have been went through without any problem, they would have taken about like 75 to 85% of the North American anime market. Believe it or not.
The government's actually doing something right for once. I'm
Yep.
shocked.
Yep, dude, exactly, man. Anything Sony touches, it taints it, just like Crunchyroll, man. Because I remember Crunchyroll used to be all right, and the Funimation used to be all right before Sony bought them out, and then look at them now.
Well,
they're crap.
They got comfortable and started treating what was supposed to be a respectable business into basically their personal soapbox.
Yep.
And the rest of us who were like, dude, we just want good dubs of good anime coming out of
and good and DVDs and Blu-rays, man. We don't care about this whole politics stuff. Just give us what we want, and that's it.
Yeah, like just do that, and we'll give you our money without complaint. But you basically decided to become opposite for kids, and now we're like, we want you replaced, more or less.
Yeah. Don't remind me of the 4Kids era. And how Sony PlayStation, Solid Spectre, thanks for bringing that up. Don't get started with PlayStation, man. Like, they never been the same. They try to, they instead of getting the gamers, they want to get to the casuals that don't play video games.
I mean,
look, you're not a political company. You're not a political company or a movement. Sony, stop. And just create and sell video games. That's your product, and that's your focus. I do not like it when businesses do that type of stuff. They get all political and whatnot. This is why we don't focus on politics here. I even get uncomfortable talking about it at times.
Yes, Sony's been crappy for years. Really, it's only like a
PS3 era.
Oh yeah, even before that, like Otaku, Detroit Otaku. I think you follow him. He's posted little reports he's done on Minds where it's like, yeah, they've been crooked for years. Like the whole censorship, they've always kind of delved into it.
Involved with Michael's death.
Oh yeah, Razorfish did a whole series of videos on that. How Sony may have actually been culpable in Michael Jackson's death because they wanted all of his work and Michael Jackson wasn't playing ball.
So, don't blame them. The music industry is freaking evil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And exactly. Now they create mediocrity.
Yeah.
Big time, dude. They don't create. When's the last time they decide they make a trailer that's freaking hype? Or a game that brings you hype? I remember Killzone with Killzone 2. That was a banging game. Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper.
Well, yeah, you had variety back then. Now with the exception,
yeah, variety. You have
nowadays if it's
innovation.
If it's not Ratchet and Clank now, it's some open world game in a forest somewhere.
Isn't that that boring game called Horizon Zero Dawn with the robotic Zoid dinosaurs?
Horizon is a game that on paper is fun. And it was for me for a while, but after a while, it just kind of became, like a chore to get through because it's literally every game ever, with the only difference being a female character with a bow, and even then, that's not even original.
That's fun. The Hunger Games reference. Woo!
And when I mean every game ever, I don't mean gameplay because, well, there's plenty of a lot of that,
with a bow, like cannons,
like
from the Hunger Games.
Yep, and of course collectibles everywhere, and high points that you have to go on everywhere, and beyond that, the lore and world building is literally ripped from virtually every major sci-fi franchise on the face of the earth, like the machines that took over the world, Terminator and the Matrix. Said machines devouring all life in the universe, the flood from Halo, or the xenomorphs from Alien. the old civilization that seeds the earth, that cleanses the earth and seeds it with new life. Basically, the forerunners from Halo. Hell, even the architecture in the bunkers with the triangles and shit is literally virtually identical to the forerunner structures from the original Halo games. And and the super machines that are basically the the big boss ones in charge of all of them, like you go to a mountainside and you see it, and it's like, oh, that must be the big evil devil machine they're talking about. It's a Reaper from Mass Effect. Like, no joke.
Wow.
It's literally the same shape. Cuttlefish with tentacles.
Yeah, shame, because basically I remember when Western games were fun. Anyone remember Hitman 2 for the PS2? The Hitman series?
I've never played the Hitman series, but I hear a lot of good things about it.
I just love those games, man. They aged well. Hitman 2 is difficult though, but the series aged well. From
Yeah,
Hitman 2 to Blood Money. I don't like Absolution, but I
Absolution,
kind of
I
like what I
hear,
played
is
of the remake, the first Hitman PS4 game before Sony. Yes, Square Enix butchered the first installment, and why IO Interactive, the Hitman creators, left Square Enix and went to Warner Brothers, and the series took off from there after they left from Square Enix.
yeah,
Single game, no multiple games, no DLC, full game experiences on one disc, starting from Hitman 2 and onwards.
Absolution, I hear, is quite the black sheep in the franchise. But from what I hear of the other games, both before and afterwards, it's like basically the ultimate spy playground where the developers made it in such a way where you could fool yourself into basically, doing some stuff to the game that you'd think even they wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
And the way you just described it, yeah, I'm kind of like that right now with Eidos Montreal, with Eidos and the Deus Ex franchise. Like, just take it away from Squeenix and just make the next Adam Jensen game away from them.
Exactly. What I'll do if I was them, break away from Square Enix and go with Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
Sell
re-release.
to Warner Brothers, and they'll make a good Deus Ex reboot.
Yeah,
and a continuation of Adam Jensen.
Yeah,
I like Mankind Divided.
I do really like Mankind Divided. It's just what annoys me about it is it's very well, it's not the ending, it's how the whole game was structured, because you could tell there was way more content that we were supposed to get that got chopped out, and I waited a long time for a complete edition of the game. Never happened, because there were a lot of DLC quests that are basically were supposed to be in the main game, but you can't play them in the main game because they've been shortchanged out of there. Like in the director's cut for Mankind Divided, with the missing Link DLC, they inserted it into the game, so it's like you're not missing anything. It's right there, and it's part of the plot. And yet, in Mankind Divided, nope, you got to go to the main menu, start a new file, basically redo Jensen's stats all over again for each of them, and then you leave, and you have to like boot up the main game, if you want to try and do them canonically, which I didn't do, but
difficult.
Yeah, so it's needless bullshit that they didn't think to do that again, where they could have just took the DLCs and inserted them into the game proper. But no, they made it their own little separate mini campaigns, and that just kind of peeved me. So if I were them, I would re-release the director's cut of Mankind of Human Revolution and group it with Mankind Divided. Make a director's cut for that, and basically do a super director's cut of both games, and then boom, come out with the next game that was supposed to have all the stuff meant for Mankind Divided, and continue on there and finish the story.
Yeah, but thanks to Marvel, we got that instead. Don't know why the hell they did that, man.
Because
look at that game; it's like a big waste of time.
because
Man,
Square
even
Enix are
Guardians of the
idiots.
Galaxy looked more fun and promising than Avengers.
I have no stock in either game, really. I'm basically on the fuck Marvel and Square Enix train. You didn't give me what I wanted, and you intentionally sabotaged a previous project, a far better product, just to get to this one. And it also did not
Final
help.
Fantasy Versus 13. You're giving me like sad flashbacks. What happened? Sad flashbacks. What happened to why Square Enix replaced with Versus 13 and did it with 15.
What that game is to you, Deus Ex is to me. I mean, I'd say
the Japanese version.
Yeah, I mean, I would brag and say at least my game came out, but unfortunately I can't because they basically butchered it.
Yep.
So it doesn't really even out.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
And then there was that other time where that one former BioWare developer, what was his name? Manveer Air, who's racist to white people. Like every other day, he'd be bitching about Whitey for whatever reason. And when the plot details for Mankind Divided were coming out, he took umbrage with the whole Augs bit with the augmented being that you're bringing up Black Lives Matter. How dare you? And the developers were like, no, we did not think of burn, loot, murder when we were coming up with the plot of our game. You're talking out of your ass, and the two developers that dared to defend their game, they got fired.
Wow.
Like, how dare developers actually stick up and defend their product? Basically, what Manveer Air did, he basically pulled a Mark Wade on them. Like, if you heard what happened,
why he's like angry at his bosses and say like, you don't to be like freaking racist.
Yeah, like
and whatnot, and talk about politics and get that involved with your job without any sort of trouble.
Yep.
Which I don't get with modern people, anyways.
Like if anyone,
there's a time and place for that crap.
Yeah.
And why he didn't do that on his private account? And even though it's his public work account, oh, Mad Matt's here. Like now the fun party shall be.
Manveer Air should have been fired. As such, so should have Mark Wade after
Black fuck both Manveer Air and Mark Wade. Both of them suck.
Yep.
Care about all politics and be in a political movement. If you want to be in a political movement, you should join one and not involve video games with that crap.
Thank you.
Let alone sabotage another person's product.
Knowing well for certain you don't involve that stuff into work. It'll piss off your customers. It'll probably piss off your bosses. You'll probably piss off a lot of people and damage and tarnish your product if it doesn't evolve around the game or its product. They tend to get out of topic on instead of like saying, hey, play our game and whatnot.
Yep.
Not to mention Manveer
on his private blog. My God. It's kind of stupid.
Not to mention Manveer fucking killed Mass Effect. Motherfucker.
That game was dead before it even arrived.
Yep.
I know.
Hell, it was dead even after Mass Effect 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine Hepler.
Chat, I do not like Mass Effect. Why? Because it looked bland, like any other Western sci-fi story. It didn't have that cool-looking Star Wars or grounded Star Trek design. It had this generic space-flaring sci-fi story you see on Ender's Game or any other pulp science fiction story. Yes, it's a big thing about Mass Effect paying tribute to those stories, and I'm a big sci-fi fan, but the series didn't click on to me because of its plot structure and this character designs look bland and ugly as hell.
I personally liked the art design and the general setting, especially with the whole Reapers being Space Cthulhu's. Where it lost me, however, was how two basically was a quasi reboot after that, just so they could get the 12-year-olds to get to play it on it. And then when they started making that Star Wars MMO, they sent the writer to go work on it. And then when plot details got leaked, they basically threw out the whole thing and rewrote what we were supposed to have gotten before the third game came out. It was basically like what happened to Destiny. They just rewrote the story for no reason.
If you ask me, the only really good sci-fi Western work would be The Expanse.
I've heard it's pretty good.
I haven't watched that yet, but I love.
You might want to, Omega Dude. I mean, it's actually really good.
On Netflix called, what's that one series on Netflix called? Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon.
Altered Carbon. That was a banging series on Netflix.
Yeah, I like Altered Carbon too.
There's another one I heard called. It's basically a series of short films. Love, Death, and Robots. I think. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Robots.
Yeah, that one. Like, I'm not sure if you follow her, but I kind of I saw like she did reviews of a couple of episodes. Her name's Altiori. She did a couple of reviews on the show, and there are some pretty interesting episodes with some weird concepts, I'll say.
Yeah, like the Widget series.
Yeah, it's like it's like basically another Twilight Zone kind of show.
Yeah.
Twilight Zone by way of heavy metal.
Started with the whole Crunchyroll thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
It allows me to share this whole screen. Share this screen. It allows me here. Guys can see the screen here?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, here goes, you guys. Here's the fun part here. So this is the first part here. And this is how it begins here. Kanapa, who's famous for his insights on the anime industry, even though I don't agree with some of his political movements, but this is a good thread and an article, man. Finally, someone from Anime News Network finally did their reporting right, and a guy who actually loves the medium. So, anyways, this is the big one: mismanagement, miscommunication, and misspending. Crunchyroll originals have been a disaster. In 2018, Crunchyroll Studios Tokyo was founded. In 2020, it was closed. More details in the full article. I'll check that out later. At Crunchyroll, originals aren't the type of show, but rather an umbrella brand that encompasses many different kinds of production circumstances. Each of these have a different level of success, from production disaster to, hey, that was all right. The first type of co-productions that were later rebranded as Crunchyroll originals. In asking a Crunchyroll spokesperson, they declined to offer any steps of the company to prevent overwork on the shows they co-produce. Yeah. Continue.
Yeah, XIII was just bleh.
Yeah, the second type of Crunchyroll Studios Burbank shows. These are productions that are made with an average budget for an anime, but low budget for the US cartoons. High Guardian Spikes have been complete since 2019, but there's evidence to suggest Backlash kept it from being released. The third type are Crunchyroll Studios. Before I continue, let me just say that it's not true that with Backlash, you can still release a show that has Backlash. Mm-hmm. Why they're scared now?
I mean, how many Hollywood shows that's come out and movies still come out now despite the backlash? Like
exactly, just release it on streaming like VRV or Netflix, dude.
Like Star Trek Picard season 2. I didn't even know there was a season 2.
Star Trek Picard and fuck Alex Kurtzman. That
dude,
guy.
I do not like modern Star Trek, dude. Screw them, man.
Yeah, it's like
I prefer Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it's like season 2 of
Star Trek. What's that one with Picard? The first one.
Yeah, it's like season 2 of Picard literally appeared right out of the ether, and I didn't even know of it because I'm so checked out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Why should I watch Star Trek Picard when we already had the original Star Trek Picard? Next Generation, bitches.
Exactly. That's what I've been looking for. I love those ones. I tend to watch those ones for relaxing and whatnot. And can I continue here? Or you want me to keep talking before?
Okay,
Go ahead
continue.
there, Omega dude.
Okay, the third type is Crunchyroll Studios Tokyo shows. This is the interesting part. None of these have been released. Without telling anyone, Crunchyroll rented out half of a building and invited studios to work there to create original shows. However, it was more space than they needed, with some rooms left half empty. Okay, why you rented or bought a half skyscraper? I don't get that.
Bit off more than they could chew, apparently.
Exactly. The studio closed in 2020.
Understatement of the
Without
night.
telling anyone. One of its main studios, Yapiko Japan, is also closed. Meiji Getken is now finishing production at Sumugi Akita, who were originally just helping out with the project. The fourth type are the shows at Sola Entertainment, led by Joseph Chill. These are the Crunchyroll's biggest success. The webtoon shows, The God of High School and Tower of God. After Crunchyroll struggles to get into the industry, Sola had all the contacts and experiences they didn't. However, Sola's Entertainment's biggest relationship seemed to be with the Warner companies. In fact, their next big project is The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim.
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 What?
Rohirrim.
Rohirrim. Sorry, my bad.
You're fine.
Haven't been catching up with Lord of the Rings in a while. The Funimation buyout may complicate this partnership. Finally, there are the Adult Swim shows. Some of these are also with Sola Entertainment. These include stuff like Shenmue, Blade Runner, Black Lotus, and Fina the Pirate Princess.
Wait, they did a Blade Runner and
Fina the Pirate Princess concept.
Yeah, they actually did a Blade Runner anime.
a
Check out
Shenmue
Blackout
anime.
2022. And
It was actually pretty legit, in my opinion. I kind of think it's all right.
yeah,
I'm behind.
This
It's
guy
done
looked
by
like
the same
Black
dude who
Lotus,
did-
though. Flying
done
Lotus.
by the same dude who did Cowboy Bebop, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't do a Shenmue anime 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Way to
Same
strike
here.
while the iron.
Shenmue fans are mostly in their 30s, their late 20s, or early 40s now.
Yeah, way to strike while the iron's frozen fucking stiff there.
Exactly, dude. Because basically, Shenmue is groundbreaking for its time. Like, it's not like an quasi-open world, but it's story that takes place in 80s Japan about a martial artist that seeks revenge from his father getting killed by a Chinese martial artist. I forgot a lot of that game, but it seems boring now for the modern player, but back then it was revolutionary.
Yakuza is pretty much the modern successor to Shenmue, if I'm being
And
perfectly
much
honest.
better if you ask me.
Yeah.
And
why don't make a Yakuza anime? Knowing well, Yakuza is the big thing in the US and Japan as of right now, and has fans.
Yep.
Yeah, give me Yakuza over Shenmue any day.
Yeah. Even though I got Yakuza, let me continue now. To sum it all up, of course, a load of more details in the article itself. There has been miscommunication with both fans and those at the company. Bad spending decisions and their successes relying on Sola Entertainment. Give them a shout out, Sola Entertainment, not Crunchyroll.
Yeah, Sola Entertainment.
Crunchyroll originals have been a disaster. And let's look at the comments here. Screw Crunchyroll, it's ran by terrible people. Another guy named Portu says, another aspect that your article touches upon is the idea of a brand image. I find it no coincidence that outside of previous announced partnerships, the Crunchyroll Originals brand simply died out after the 1-2-3 punch of High Guardian Spice, Gibaite, and Hello Hello. I don't remember Hello Hello.
Yeah, me neither.
Crunchy Invincible Cambot 3. Crunchyroll, not even once. Nice getter.
I even love the name Invincible Cambot 3.
Invincible Zambot, but instead Invincible Cambot.
Yeah, also a MST3K reference too.
Yeah. I'm working on a video about how many anime are CGI nowadays, and your article definitely helps to prove my point of basically all the people who are able to draw being booked out but producers still interested in making more shows. So thank you. Yes, I'll be looking forward for your video, Miki. Yes. And let's just look at the article here at Anime News Network.
More like anime social justice bullshit network.
Yeah. So I'm just putting this here instead of... Yeah. Here's the article here. I'll let you guys read it yourselves if you guys can able to read, but...
I think I can read just fine.
Okay. Here's the article. Let me just... Wait. How you use freaking like archive on the website archive or something like that?
I have no idea.
Me neither. Not really the right guy to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want people to give clicks to Anime News Network and whatnot, but
yeah, not a bad idea.
Yeah, just want to like share this article around, but I don't want to give them clicks. But this guy deserves the clicks, so not Anime News Network. So
yeah.
Let me just read this pretty long article. Let's just like scroll down here, and
if I may go back to a previous point. Wait, they got rid of all their 2D artists to make room for 3D ones, and they're like, we need more shows. You don't get rid of your money making talent there, folks. That's like a bad idea.
Yeah,
big time, dude. You don't do that.
By the way, 3D fucking sucks, man. 2D's where it's at, man.
Yeah, 2D especially. The 3D stuff like Baki. Dude, I want my 2D fight scenes of Baki, please.
I can be fine with 3D if it's used well, but more times than often.
Yeah, I mean, see also why Gundam Hathaway was so good.
Dude, Gundam Hathaway has one of the best CGI in anime, period. I watched it the other night and I loved it.
I haven't watched it, but I'll look it up later.
I watched it with a Discord group, and goddamn, is it anime film of the year material.
Was the CGI used for the mechs specifically?
Very much.
The mechs, the special effects.
Okay, I'm fine.
Done right. It's like you don't even notice the CGI being out of place or uncanny valley. That's how good it is.
I typically prefer 2D for everything, but I can understand it if it's for like machines, because know those things are not alive. But when it's stuff like for monsters, stuff that's living, like dragons, Godzilla, and other stuff, it takes me out of it, because I'm supposed to be looking at excuse me, like that's supposed to be a living thing, right? And yet it takes me out because it's moving so robotically. Like a good example, like in the original Studio Dietz Fate Stay Night anime, that there's that infamous scene with the dragon, and the dragon looks so bad, like because they're using terrible CG with it, and it doesn't look good.
No.
Yeah, so long as CGI is used just for machines and all that, I'm perfectly down.
Yeah,
but
like
other than
that War of the Rohirrim.
That's a really good show with good mech CG as well.
Like that War of the Rohirrim anime. Like, I hope it's good. I mean, I could easily see an anime equivalent of the Silmarillion. Show off Morgoth and Calagon the Black Dragon and all that. But I kind of fear it at the same time, because I don't want those characters being CGI.
Yeah, I would so definitely kill for an adaptation of the Silmarillion. Hell,
animated would do very well on it.
Yeah, very much. But make it anime, but also give it the Frank Frazetta treatment too.
Yeah, and about the article, we reading?
Frank Frazetta's work is kind of hard to like make it animated unless you want to be like photorealistic. But due to like the whole content, the whole content of its character designs, the social justice losers will complain and whine about it as usual.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Buff men, sexy women, macho-ness.
Yeah, don't even get me,
macho-ness.
dude. Don't even get me started on what's happening with Victoria's Secret right now. I mean, they're
I'm
using.
not interested in Victoria's Secret, dude, but I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Insert one here says Akito the Exiles and R3 anime uses CGI for its mech battles. Dude, I prefer the 2D stuff when it involves robots.
Same, but it worked.
Same here, but I can also tolerate 3D mecha.
Yeah, just so long as it still looks good, and at least with the mecha, it works. I mean, it fits the most because it's machines; they're not living things.
Yeah, and complex designs and whatnot. Yeah, I'm just looking at this article here. Blah blah. Don't feel like reading right now.
Yeah, I kind of breezed through as much of it as I could, and from what looks of things, seems no one was properly communicating to each other and making a lot of bad business decisions.
Need I mention
like your monthly meeting? What's going on? How the money is doing? Where the producers doing their job properly? Like making sure everything's on task and on budget. But I switched before. Yeah, I'm just like highlighting things that were easy for the people in chat and you guys can actually read.
So, opinions on Attack on Titan Season 4 using CGI? Yay or nay?
It was already using. It was already using
anyway for its camera angles.
It was already using CGI even well into Season 2. Like when Bertolt turns into the Colossal Titan later on, when the reveal happens, it's a very, very obvious and not very well rendered CGI version, and it's like the Season 1 version of the Colossal Titan looks so much better. But yet here in Season 2 and 3, I'm looking at this big plasticky looking balloon version of him, and it took me out of it immediately.
Yeah.
I'm just like highlighting stuff for those who can actually read.
Like the seasons were good. It's just they were for the most part well animated. It's just why would you turn the thing that we all looked at in horror and make it into CGI and very bad CGI? Like
the only really good CGI that worked in Attack on Titan would be the live action tokusatsu, man.
I've heard those movies are not great, but they're at the very least enjoyable when it comes to the tokusatsu effects. At least
I actually like the tokusatsu Attack on Titan. Believe it or not.
Yeah, is it because it is how it takes like an alternative universe where Japan's like the few only survivors left of the human race, instead of the European ones in the OG universe of Attack on Titan? I viewed the live action movie as an alternative universe if Japan was one of the last living people on the planet.
That's pretty much the only way you can look at it, considering how radically different it is.
And if you ask me, it's actually much better than OG Attack on Titan.
Oh, OG Attack on Titan is getting roasted right now.
Attack on Titan since Season 2.
Yeah, the manga ended not long ago, and
oh boy, it sucked.
It's getting roasted.
Yeah. Sorry, it's Sayama. You seem like a cool dude. I can probably bring you out to give you ramen or sushi, but
but boy, he's not bad. He just needed to end it. He just needed to know how to write better endings, is all.
From what I gather, the initial ending was at the very least tolerable, but he just kept adding more and more shit to it to the point where now it has more endings than Return of the King, and it gets worse with each one.
Yeah.
Except Return of the King was actually really good.
Yep.
Continue, Matt.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So basically, in Return of the King, I liked the Return of the King, to be honest. It felt like an ending.
Exactly, and at least it felt earned. Like, yeah, a lot of endings, but at the very least, we went on a great journey with these characters, and they all deserved it. So I'm fine with it. But here, it's kind of like it feels like he keeps adding more and more shit as a form of revisioning, and it just comes across like, dude, you're making it worse. Stop.
Yeah. I know Isayama deserved his break because he's been working on the series for 10 plus years, but I wonder what his next series will be like. Maybe martial arts or maybe a slice of life show? We don't.
Hopefully mecha, dude. Hopefully mecha.
I don't know. What? Huh?
Hopefully mecha.
That too. But mecha manga's pretty hard to do because of the robot designs and whatnot. Unless you're trying to make a super robot show.
Super robot could work.
Simplistic Saturday morning cartoon, superhero vibes. Dude, super robot. Treat it as a superhero show.
I definitely recommend Gundam.
That's coming from the same guy who loves Robo Devolution with incredible mechanical detail too. I mean, seriously, the Robo in Devolution looks so Evangelion-like. It actually curb stomps an Evangelion, believe it or not.
I want to read the Getter Robo.
If you look at Getter Robo, isn't it? If you actually read the concepts of Getter Robo, it's actually pretty nightmarish. The whole Getter rays, their enemies, like basically mankind is screwed in that universe because every single non-humanoid being wants to destroy or conquer humanity.
The Getter Emperor is like something out of a Lovecraft novel, I swear.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of why that's why Getter Robo curb stomps Evangelion in regards to storytelling, world building,
themes,
to be Lovecraftian cosmic horror building,
and themes of like overcoming all your troubles instead of like drowning in them and deconstruct them. Instead, Getter Robo like fight through it with even if you have to use an axe.
Of the real robot type manga I've read, Gundam the Origin.
I have to go to the bathroom. You guys can keep talking.
Okay. Gundam the Origin.
Gundam the Origin is amazing, dude.
It's like
I also love Gundam Thunderbolt 2. Gundam Thunderbolt is
I need to get more of the manga, especially since I think they've done 2 seasons of Thunderbolt now.
They should do more seasons of Thunderbolt because, good lord, is that story really good?
I think the manga.
I'm even clamoring. I'm even more on Team Daryl, if you ask me.
E.O. Fleming is kind of an evil son of a bitch. It's like
E.O. Fleming's not that bad, but Daryl, I'll definitely take as an actual Gundam pilot, which, funnily enough, for Zeke, he actually does pilot a Gundam later on.
Funny how that works. I
know.
I think the manga's now up to volume 15 now, I think, as far as the English release is concerned. So I don't know if it's reaching the end point yet. But I do want to read where the anime doesn't cover. And even then, the artwork is pretty good. But Origin, I have like 95% of the Origin in my collection. I just need volume 12 and then I'm good.
Dude, if you want to read a much more mature and gritty take on Gundam Origin, Kazuhisa Kondo's Mobile Suit Gundam 0079, dude.
0079,
Kazuhisa Kondo.
Kazuhisa Kondo Gundam. Let me see. I'm feeling like I've heard that somewhere. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I actually, funny enough, I actually have a volume 2 of his run, and oh my god, freaking $100 for a paperback? Really? Ugh, fucking reprint that shit. But yeah, I basically found volume 2 of his Gundam run in the bookshelf in a Goodwill after hours. I haven't read it yet, but I want to look up the rest of it. So that
Yeah, I've heard many good things about Kazuhisa Kondo's run on Mobile Suit Gundam 0079.
Yeah,
Not to mention the mechs look so much more mean looking.
Oh yeah, there were some scenes in the Origin as well where like even the average grunt suit like looks like a towering monster over the Zeons, and you see it and you're like, yeah, they're gonna die. But and I really want the rest of the Origin animated, not just the prequel era stuff with Char Aznable. So let's see, insert here. Good thing that AOT isn't getting woke anytime soon. I don't think you have to worry about that at this rate. There were extra panels for AOT's ending. It felt like there was a sequel. It definitely looks like they're setting up for a sequel, because I could have sworn I read somewhere that there is a sequel planned, to which I'm kind of like, why? Isayama kind of shot his series in the foot with how he ended it. So it's like, okay, the cycle continues.
Man.
Yeah, it's like, okay, the cycle of revenge and death continues. How original. Haven't seen that a million times before. I'm not too interested. Who was the guy that had a kid with Mikasa? Yep, it was Jean. At least that's what I'm told. Excuse me, Jean. Jean, French name. I'm told it's John. That's what I'm told from everywhere.
I thought it would be Eren.
Eren's dead by the end of the run. He basically went nuts from the Attack on Titan power. It turns out it allows him to do like quasi time travel, where he influences the actions of characters in the past, including his own dad. And he also psychic time traveled, commanded the Titan version of Grisha's wife, the smiling Titan, to go and eat Eren's own mom. So it's like basically future version of him went nuts and basically commanded everything to come to be as it is. It's very strange.
That's convoluted ever. That's the most convoluted thing I ever heard, dude. Sorry, I'm back. I have to use the bathroom.
Convoluted, more like, holy shit, this is just going into what the fuck territory right there.
Like, I get you wanted to make Eren the kind of sort of villain. I get it, but I feel you did it too hard. I feel like partnering with a writer would work if he were to return. I definitely would think that there are a lot of cases where I think some writers or creators definitely need like that one guy to tell them, like, yeah, no, this don't work, or this works, like an editor. I remember in an interview that Isayama said that he didn't want to have a happy ending, so I think he delivered on it. I had heard that too. Like, I don't mind him not doing a happy ending. I get it. Just make it make sense is what I mean.
Technolize's ending made perfect sense because the world was already going to hell, and
like, I'm old
this
school.
Wasn't going to, I kind of knew right then and there this shit wasn't going to end well for mankind.
Yeah. Mankind was crap in Technolize. If you guys never heard of Technolize, go watch it, please, because it's an amazing series if you can handle the grittiness of it. It's like so, what's that term I'm looking for? Pessimistic. That it's like not even
very pessimistic.
Yeah, everyone's everyone's not nice. Even the main character is like a jerk, and like
he's more like a brute than anything.
Yes.
Like, I'm old-fashioned and I prefer my happy endings, but I'm fine with a bittersweet or tonally bad ending if so long as the logic is sound.
Yeah. You know that stuff Nitro Plus? It Technoglyze makes it look like Candyland. That's how dark Technoglyze is.
What kind of series
would
is
have
Techno?
wished he could
Yeah,
be.
and if you ask me, Technolize pretty much curb stomps Wolf's Reign in the depressing storyline department, because at least with Wolf's Reign, the world is reborn and humanity starts anew, albeit in a similar fashion to the old world, but still mankind reborn.
The ending to Wolf's Reign confused me at the time, because it just, I don't know, just the way things happen just kind of felt out of nowhere. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it's one of those you kind of have to wrap your brain around it, and I'm still kind of like iffy about how much I'm able to process with it.
Like, dude, like, basically, but the whole thing with the whole, like, we're trying to get off the topic, but I don't care. But really, with dark stories, Urobuchi most of the time, plane crash. It's like dark for no reason. It's like edgelord material for God's sake, dude. Like, if you actually checked out this guy's work, he's mostly like loved by edgelords, to be honest. It's all dark and edgy to make it edgy, and sad because, hey, it's dark and edgy. We can't have a happy ending. But with shows like Technoglyze, Wolf's Reign, what's another dark one? Right, that one with the lamb and whatnot that turns.
It's there's another. It's a Geno Urobuchi one, but Madoka Magica.
That's Geno Urobuchi, dude.
Yeah.
That's Edged Fest. That ruined the magical girl genre. Yes, I like my magical Madoka Magica, but at times it feels edgy, dude. It doesn't do dark and gritty right. With Technoglyze, you want to make it dark and depressing. That's where it's at, man. But its first 2 episodes just blew off a lot of people because it's so avant-garde how it's written. There was like, look, if you watch Technoglyze episode 1 and 2, there was no dialogue to like episode 3.
Yeah, really? That says a lot more about the storyline than anything Geno Urobuchi does. Let that sink in.
Yeah, from my experience with Urobuchi, he's either very good when he has proper material, or he's really bad when he's left to his or he can be really bad depending on how he's. So it's like I've seen both sides of it, where it's like Fate Zero, loved it. I really felt he did great with that.
I actually watched Kamen Rider Gaim too.
Gaim was pretty good though, yeah.
So yeah, I get it. No creator's perfect. So he's definitely one of those where it's like you'll have one half of his body of work that's great and the other hand is not great. And I've seen and a good example of the not great would definitely be All Noah Zero, where the main character is as dull and boring as a box of wine coolers, and every character around him is a fucking idiot.
Perfect, man.
About it, man.
No one's likable. It would have had promise, but dude, its writing just sucked, man.
The only thing I like
basically a showcase on how not to do a Ryosuke Takahashi mecha anime.
The only thing I liked out of All Noah Zero was the orange cataphract mech, which kind of made it look like a converted construction mech into a military vehicle. Other than that, everything was just ripoff after ripoff of basically every mecha show in existence, and with characters even duller than the last.
Yeah.
And some of them
not to mention All Noah Zero is pretty much piss poor version of let's say Blue Comet SPT Lasner.
Thank you, dude.
I'm still waiting for a stateside release of that anime. Hey, Discotheque, Sentai, whatever. Get on that shit, please.
I'll pay for it, dude. I like how it's set up and everything. Like basically how it's like all hopeless and everything. That's how it should have been written, with engaging characters the villains have personality, despite all of them hates humanity, but some of them have morals involving battle and whatnot.
Yeah, Lakane may be very much Garen Zabi and all but name, but at least he has his own sense of morality.
Oh, the rival character to the boring protagonist in All Noah, who's basically the Char clone in all but name. It's like second season he becomes the villain, and I'm like, why are you attacking your fellow Earthlings when the Martians have all but mistreated you? Like,
I don't get that either, dude.
Huh?
I don't get that either.
I didn't get it. It's like the first season's like
the whole Martian thing does not make freaking sense.
Yeah, it's like the first season had a couple of things where I was like, you have something, then it ends seemingly with characters dead at the end of the first season. Then second season, it's like, what the fuck did you do?
Yeah, dude, like, can I say something? Super Robot Wars fix. Like they did with Seed Destiny, dude.
I can see that.
I heard
it's of Super Robot Wars.
Yes.
How about that Super Robot Wars 30?
Yeah. Let Super Robot Wars rewrite El Noah Zero completely. Like they did with Seed Destiny.
I'm for it.
And here's the story about that one. The story was with how Super Robot Wars dealt with Seed Destiny was so impressive that its director did not like it. Like he was hating on Van Presto. I'm not making this up. This all over the internet, man. How Van Presto can be able to write a better Gundam Seed Destiny than freaking Sunrise.
Jesus.
I'm not
the director of Gundam Seed got all salty because the guys at Van Presto told a better Gundam Seed story than him.
That's hilarious.
Shit.
Please do the same with Noah Zero. We need a Super Robot Wars fix now. I'm not lying. Because imagine that with Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Not to mention,
boy.
Oh, and another thing about
the Martians Wars said
Shinji a dick.
Alhorn.
They gave Shinji Akari a dick.
Yeah, that was Seed's director.
Yeah,
and his wife, who died from brain cancer. She was the writer, and Seed was pretty mediocre from what I've seen of it. Destiny, I hear, was a complete disaster because they wouldn't let Chiaki Murasawa go. Mitsuo pretty much kept her on, even as her brain was rotting away from the cancer, to the point where it's like actors and writers and other cast members were like, what the fuck is this that we're supposed to work with? And the actress who played that character, Kigali, she was like, you're turning my character into something she's not. Why are you doing this? And Mitsuo fired her because she dared to question the writing of Murasawa. It's like he let his own ego and bad judgment override good decision making.
Fukuda was a hack anyways, dude.
Yeah. And it's like, okay.
He was good when's what's that car show called again?
Oh, Cyber Formula.
Yeah, that
DX.
Yes. That one. He did a pretty good job on that one, but everything else, meh.
What kills me with Seed is that not only was a Van Presto able to do a better job, you've got the team behind Seed, Astray, and Stargazer, who are clearly much more competent. And now that I hear about...
Speaking of Astray, am I alone in thinking that Loagel or Guy Murakumo are far better main characters than Kira and Atherin?
Yeah, big time.
Anyone's better than Kira and Atherin, and Atherin's not even that bad. Funny enough, he has the best Gundam in Destiny with the Infinite Justice.
Yeah, personally, I'm more a fan of the Astray Gundams being way more powerful than even the Freedom or Justice.
When I heard that new movie project for Seed got announced, I was like, Okay, kind of weird to do that now of all times, especially since Seed was a long time ago, a little late to do any movies based on it.
Yeah, again.
But then when I saw
striking while the iron's frozen fucking stiff.
Exactly, even the Double O movie, despite its flaws, took advantage of the timing. But then I look at the who's involved, and I see produced by Fukuda, and all my interest just dropped.
Yep.
Like, the problem with the Cosmic Era, there's actually cool shit in the Cosmic Era.
Yeah, there was actually cool mecha designs in Cosmic Era.
Problem is,
it was just wasted it was just wasted potential.
Exactly. Like, hell, you have cool shit. Like, apparently there's alien life out there, but you don't take advantage of that. Instead, we pretty much just get Xeon 2.0 yet again. But they're artificial clones or something.
This would have been the Expanse before the Expanse with Max even.
Mm-hmm. So it's like, I really would like to see Seed rebooted and done better.
And with a better director too.
It's one of the very few where it definitely needs it, and I would suppose even a few Universal Century stuff too, like Victory Gundam. Like, Victory Gundam is just a mess.
Yeah, Victory Gundam was not bad, but I'll take Victory Gundam over Gundam Seed if that makes any sense.
I would say my problem with Victory is that Tomino was basically full on depressed at that point. He didn't like
Burnout.
Burnout. Yeah. He didn't like where Sunrise wanted it, and so he kind of
still better than Gundam Seed if you ask me.
Oh yeah, it's just, and he kind of was just like, fuck it, I'll just submit to them random nonsense and have them work with it. And then of course, I mean, Zeta's kind of guilty of this as well, but Victory really pushed it when it came to all the killing, to the point where I just kind of stopped caring. Like, why should I care about character X if he's just gonna die anyway?
Yeah.
At least with Zeta, it was shocking. Cause
yeah, man. Not to mention, I'll take the Titans as the bad guys over the Zanskar Empire. Zanskar Empire just seemed like your run-of-the-mill Saturday morning bad guys, whereas Titans have quite a bit of death even when they're being Saturday morning bad guys.
Pretty much. And hey, Sunrise, can we get Crossbone Gundam animes next, please?
Yes!
Yeah.
Like, anytime.
With the Pathway splash treatment? With the animation, man?
Fuck yes!
And Gundam F91 reboot, please.
F91 deserved a way better
treatment, man.
That's coming from a guy like myself who liked Gundam F91 warts and all.
I had to rewatch F91 because I fell asleep in the middle of it because of how, all over the place it was. And if I of all people fall asleep in the middle of your movie, that's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. So about the whole man, it's like reminding me of this whole Crunchyroll nightmare, man. Like, basically Crunchyroll's done. If Sony successfully gets a hold of the company or not, because basically what they're doing is they don't have good leadership. And
here's what I would think. Well, first off, Sony not getting their claws on the Crunchyroll, good. Keep them away from it. We don't need them getting extra baggage. But as for Crunchyroll,
you don't need it getting extra woke too.
But as for Crunchyroll themselves, they would definitely need to downsize massively. Cut a lot of the fat off and just basically start over.
Just deliver anime, like do streams, like Retro Crush. Just do streaming.
Yes.
Bingo.
Look how their sites ran. Like, basically, when you go click on, if you have RetroArch on your phone, not RetroArch, Retro Crush on your phone, click on it, and you see even a live broadcast version of Retro Crush. You can actually just watch. Let me show it to you right now.
Yeah, Retro Crush is really good, man.
Copyright stuff, but let me just if you see here, I'm watching an anime on it right now. Great teacher Onzuka. And look, it has a channel. Look, you can watch anime, and plus it has a channel when you turn on Retro Crush. If you don't know what to watch, you can watch it right there, like a live TV channel. How cool is that?
Retro
Very
Crush.
cool, if you ask me. Not to mention it's free.
They can't even do their own video player right, which is people asked for many, many, many years. No kidding.
So opinions on Clamp? Manga artist.
I love Clamp, to be honest. I like that.
That's all right. I mean,
I like Chronicles, even though its ending was controversial. I kind of liked it.
I actually like Code Geass, believe it or not.
Love
Code Geass is great. Although it does get a little...
Code Geass is what I consider one of the last truly great mecha anime of the 2000s.
Oh, I love it.
No,
it does have
that was the twilight of animes, the 2000s.
Oh, definitely.
Period.
The late 2000s, if at least.
Yeah. And my thoughts on... I heard of Retro Crush. Is old anime better than new anime? In terms of animation, if it was made today, how much SJWs will read their heads off?
Old anime is leaps and bounds above the newer shit. I mean, good God. The amount... I mean, how many SJWs' heads would explode if they saw something like Genocyber or Devilman or Violence Jack or MD Geist?
Or just any, or even just the average ones, or at least by comparison, like Fist of the North Star,
or even the ones with hot babes, names like Kimagure Orange Road, Urusei Yatsura, Tenchi Muyo.
What about what's that one? Bubblegum Crisis? That too?
Fuck yeah, Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh,
I like the mech designs of Bubblegum Crisis, dude.
Clarification, when I mean average anime, I mean average in the terms of what is much more known, and not in terms of quality, because I hear Fist of the North Star is very good. So
clarification. It's a toy show. Saint Seiya.
So that way nobody starts ripping my head off like, how dare you call that show that one average? Like, no, I mean, like, what is more known? I mean, because I'm pretty sure most people I know have never seen Violence Jack. I mean, I know of it. I've heard it's quite infamous, but I've never seen it, nor do I know anyone who has seen it, at least except probably.
Yeah, but just imagine how many SJW's heads would explode if they saw something like that. I mean, holy shit.
Yep.
And that's not before they go all up in this bitch.
You think they'll explode from that? Have them watch Mad Bull 34. They're gonna die of a stroke within 2 seconds with that one before the first line of bad dubbing reaches their ears.
Oh, I got a better one. Angel Cop. Motherfucking Angel Cop.
Code Geass, Robots on Rollerblades, the anime. You're damn right, and I love it for that.
Yeah, that's why Code Geass is awesome, because of the mech designs.
I want models of those things.
I'm even going to go on record and say I like Code Geass just a bit more than Eureka 7. Sorry, Omega dude.
Dude, what? Say that again?
I like Code Geass just a bit more than Eureka 7.
Trust me, I like both shows. I got Code Geass movie versions plus Eureka 7. I like them equally.
I need to get.
But I don't like their fan base of Code Geass.
I need to get the most recent Geass movie. I actually saw it in theaters. I really liked it. I did not get the movie versions of the two shows because to me they came across as being like just a condensed version of the main shows. It's like I already have.
Yeah, not to mention they kind of made a poignant death scene of Shirley rather pointless.
Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I changed my mind and I want to get those, because they pretty much rewrote the timeline and had the movie.
For Shirley, yeah.
And when I watched the movie, I was like, Shirley's right there, and I'm like, wait, what? Isn't she dead? Like, I wasn't aware of the retroactive change, so I kind of have to force myself to headcanon her still being dead somehow, even though...
insert here, I kind of think Gurren Lagann's a tiny bit overrated. I'm more of a Getter Robo kind of guy.
You know, the same guy that woke... I love both. I love Getter Robo and Gurren Lagann as they are, but But the creators are a big fan of Get a Robo. We get it, but
yeah,
I love.
I can understand that. I'm just not a fan of the mech designs in Gurren Lagann. I mean, Jesus,
it's just a big head. And then they turn into a giant version of Kamina in one of the, I think, the movie version. I think, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
I like Gurren Lagann, but I can
over Kamina, dude.
I mean, I personally thought it was kind of cool, but it kind of stopped looking like a giant mech as a result. So it's like,
yeah, give me Getter Emperor over Mecha Kamina.
And I love Gurren Lagann, but I can understand where people have problems.
I'm no Gurren Lagann hater. I mean, I'm no Gurren Lagann hater in the very same sense that I'm no Ava hater, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I respect both series.
Yeah, like
just
I don't like Ava, but I respect those who do. It's just I get it. Not my thing, but I get it.
Bingo.
I hate Asuka though.
I think I'll take Asuka over Rei, but at the end of the day, give me Misato or Mari.
I'll take Mari. She's cool.
Yeah, Mari's cool.
I don't like any of the Eva chicks, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Is my favorite
Fair
one.
enough.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're great. I mean, there are better hot chicks in anime. I mean, anyone seen Revi from Black Lagoon?
Reverie is a bloody psychopath, and I love her for it.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Look at the crimes he committed, man. I'm surprised the FBI
she looks great in booty shorts, man.
Even the scene, the episode later where she goes and pretty much makes a mess of the Yakuza gang. Like Kazuma Kiryu would probably not want to mess with her. She'd probably be. She'd probably.
I'm pretty sure Kazuma Kiryu won't stick his dick in crazy.
The man is pretty celibate as it is. No, he'd be like, yeah, I'm not messing with her. Carry on. I'll just go play in the arcade while you finish.
Yeah. That's Kazuma Kiryu in a nutshell. And Kazuma Kiryu is a fucking badass. And just let that sink in.
Him and Majima. Majima's just hilarious.
Oh, Goro Majima is my spirit animal.
I like how
Majima is like Joker, but has a moral compass, but still crazy.
Oh yeah, and I like how as his summon for like a dragon, he does the Dio pose where he spreads his knees and and leans back with his arms spread out. Yeah, he's literally Dio in that whole sequence.
Dio as a good guy.
Pretty much, if you call
I thought Steel Ball Run Dio was kind of more nicer than his original counterpart, but still a villain.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just the pose he does just makes me think Dio Brando from JoJo.
Yeah. Speaking of JoJo, one of the best series of all time, to be honest. Despite its downsides, I still kind of love the series for what it did to anime in general.
I still gotta check out JoJo. That, and I'm also thinking of a JoJo arc, but in a cyberpunk setting.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope, man.
I mean, we've got Fist of the North Star, which is basically Mad Max on steroids. Now JoJo, which started off in part artistically referencing it, but set in the 20
period. Near World War the 30s, the 1980s.
Yeah,
Italy.
The
American South.
Late 1800s, well into the early 1900s, and continuing onward.
And continuing on the way to current times.
So let's
have imagine JoJo in a cyberpunk setting.
Japan.
Alabao.
Give me a series with a 10-foot tall muscle man looking like either Joestar or Kenshiro in said cyberpunk setting, Or hell, not even a cyberpunk setting. Give me like a space opera or something. We don't get enough of those these days.
JoJo with mechs sold.
Yeah, the mechs will be like stance, like Scryed, but they're more mechanical. Like instead of like supernatural.
Scryed is really good.
Yeah,
even with
I love Scryed as well.
Hirai designs.
Yeah, Hirai. Yeah, I don't mind Hirai's work on that, but insert says I was not born in the 90s, but I view anime from the 90s to early 2010s, like 2014 or 15 to be good. Yeah, we get that times too when it depends on your world view, how you were born and raised. Like we think like the late 2000s was the peak in Twilight, while you think that's like 2014 or 15 is the peak or Twilight. Maybe someone else who was younger thinks like the 2020s and 2019 was the Twilight.
Yep.
Yeah.
For me, late 90s, early 2000s.
One doesn't necessarily have to be born in the 70s or 80s to appreciate 70s and 80s anime. You just have to have an appreciation for that stuff.
Yeah, it's a personal taste thing combined with, what era you're born in kind of thing. Yeah. Like nowadays, it's like I usually don't partake in a lot of older films, but I definitely would like to watch a lot of older anime from then, including, older films like, say, Dirty Harry or the Death Wish movies. Since a lot of the recent stuff from Hollywood is just like, bleh.
Oh, yeah. Fuck modern day Hollywood. Hollywood needs die in a fire.
Hollywood needs to go, man. I don't like them anymore.
Oh,
they highly doubt anybody still likes Hollywood these days. I mean, look at the Oscars, for example, and garbage. Tell me how much people still love Hollywood.
I've been asking for modern Hollywood and the current video game industry to crash and burn for a while now. It's been needing a purging for a overdue. They're both.
Oh, don't even get me started on this year's E3. What a fucking trash fire that was.
They're both overdue for a purging. Honestly,
I mean, the only things that made E3 barely tolerable would be Xbox and Nintendo.
Nintendo for me, certainly, because Xbox basically. I was planning on getting a Series X, but then I learned that Microsoft quietly re-implemented the DRM that they originally wanted in the Xbox. So now, if I want to play old games, I have to be logged into fucking Xbox Live just to take advantage of
crap, man.
Yep. So
God damn it, Animorph.
So yeah. Yeah, if I wanted to play an old copy of Call of Duty from the OG Xbox, I have to be connected to the internet now, even if it makes no goddamn sense. So, yeah,
that's why I'm basically trying to earn some of my money to buy a fucking better PC. That way I can play not just PS1, Saturn, and SNES, Genesis, and all that good stuff, but I can also play PS2, GameCube, and all that good stuff without it crashing.
So I have more reason to buy a refurbished previous Xbox than I do for a Series X now. And
dude, the only other reason still own my OG Xbox, dude, because I still love Panzer Dragoon Orta. Baby.
I need to get a copy of Orta. I really do. I really want re-releases of other JRPGs like Xenosaga. Like there's no episodes 1 and 2 I can find for like relatively okay prices, but there is no reason for 3 to be like $500 on eBay. Like, come on.
I'm actually lucky I actually have all 3 Xenosaga games. Let that sink in.
I want a re-release of all 3 of them, damn it.
Yeah, preferably on the Switch too.
Especially on the Switch, because I do not trust. Like, I'm practically afraid to turn on my PlayStation 4 because of that CMOS battery bullshit.
Oh yeah, fucking C-bomb. God damn it, Sony.
Really, the only reason I have to get a Series X now is just for new games. And because the console is more reliable and smaller too, Whereas the CMOS battery is still in the PlayStation 5 as well as the 4. So outside of maybe 1 or 2 exclusives for PlayStation, I have virtually no reason to buy it. And the Series X, I wanted to get that next, but
yeah, that's kind of why I'm considering buying East 8, East 9, Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 on the Switch now.
I'm pretty much making the Switch my main console right now, and eventually I'll get a Series X once the library gets bigger, especially where moving a lot of my third-party games are concerned, because I don't want to lose everything that I've done on Monster Hunter World in the ether should anything bad happen to my PlayStation. I'd rather have an X-Bone for that now. So I for $200, I might as well just get an old refurbished X-Bone and call it a day, because at least then I can still play old games on that thing without being connected to the internet. So Series X, bummer until a future date. PS5, not getting it anytime soon. That's low on the
I'm never
priority
getting
list.
a PS5 ever. I'm done with Sony. Matter of fact, I often think of an alternate future where Nintendo didn't have the Nintendo 64, but the Nintendo PlayStation.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second.
Unless it's for an exclusive that I really like and I can't find anywhere else, that's the only reason I would have to get a Sony anything at this point. By and large, I want to get Xbox or Switch duplicates of my existing library.
I mean, hell, I for one wouldn't mind playing Xenogears on the Sega Saturn.
Xenogears and Xenosaga. I want re-releases of those. I really want re-releases of the other Dot Hack games. Like, come on.
Re-release the Dot Hack games on the Switch too.
It's like,
that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it's like me. I mean, I was never much of a JRPG person growing up, but looking back on it now, I kick myself because I'm like, I should have given those games a chance. And I'm looking at them, and it's like some of them.
Xenogears a good tryout, and you'll be amazed how much the Japanese know what world building is.
Like, I'm not a big Final Fantasy person, but Xenogears, Xenosaga, and
if you ask me, Xenogears should have led the JRPG revolution.
Exactly.
Not so much Final Fantasy. I mean, Final Fantasy is all right, but
what else? The 2 White Knight Chronicles games, Suikoden. It's like I want to get those games, but some of them.
Suikoden for the Switch, please.
Oh yes, all of them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can put them on a collection, but Konami's being a retard right now, dude. Like, seriously, have you played? Any of you
being
played
a retard?
Suikoden?
That's an understatement, if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Omega. What was your question?
Anyone heard of Suikoden 2? That alone would have been worth the port.
And if you ask me, the Suikoden series leaps and bounds above Game of Thrones. If you ask me,
exactly, dude.
It's not an RPG, but Panzer Dragoon got a remaster and a re-release.
Dude, I love Panzer Dragoon, dude.
I want the other ones to come back.
Panzer Dragoon Zwei would be great. Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Switch, I'd more than kill for.
Orta, especially. I hear nothing but good things about that.
Orta on the Switch, please.
Like, I wanted to have a Switch Pro.
Orta was already a great looking game on the OG Xbox as it is. Let that stick in.
I'm hoping that Nintendo sticks with this cartridge format for a long time.
The mini cartridge is actually really good. I mean, it's actually better and more cost effective than the actual CD.
It's more cost effective. It does not rot or break nearly as badly. It's just, like the DX, like when they did the 3DS, they were like, sure, the cartridges on the regular DS work.
That's still on my 3DS and DS and 3DS games. Let that sink in.
Yeah, just basically, like, Sega was kind of doing a similar thing too, where when they made the Sega Saturn, you could put that port on that allowed you to play your Genesis games. I could have sworn. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That was more the 32X, really, but
yeah, it's like I could see them doing basically that, but streamlined it. Where it's like, okay, we got a new Nintendo system coming out. Love your Switch games. Here, take all that data that you have on your Switch games and just plug them into the new version, and so on and so forth. And since cartridges last way longer and are easier to protect, they don't get scratched or break like normal CDs do. It's like, okay, you kind of solved a problem when it comes to game preservation, especially where physical games are concerned.
Yeah,
so it's like, yeah.
Like, handheld's still around there, and it's on the Switch. It's now now gone hybrid.
I prefer handheld gaming too, because I don't have to worry about my siblings begging for the controller or haters like making comments while I'm playing a game that I enjoy. I really hate that when your parents like making jokes about the games you play.
I wouldn't say handheld gaming is dead.
I still love my big screen gaming, but at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of merit in the handheld gaming, especially back in seventh gen when handheld was pretty much the place for your JRPG fix.
I wouldn't say that handheld is dying. It's just being folded into mobile gaming a lot, and I'm like, I don't like that. But then you have Nintendo.
Handheld gaming is going one of two routes. Either folding into mobile gaming, which is the bad way to go, or becoming hybrid consoles, which is a much better outcome.
I mean, even though I criticize Nintendo for being a little too like, oh, we can't make this, we couldn't come up with a gimmick to make this game for modern day, like with F-Zero. Like, dude, it's F-Zero. You don't need to think of any gimmicks for it. But with the case of the Switch,
F-Zero, man. I mean, hell, you could even put in a good story mode, like you did with F-Zero GX.
But with the case of the Switch, it's like they hit the lightning in a bottle, where it's like you actually came up with a system that can do both and do it competently. And it's like you hit the magic hybrid. Like, you can do, like, they were trying to do with the Wii U, but the Wii U came out way too late for 7th gen and way too early for 8th gen to be noticed. So the Switch was basically like their second wind, and it's worked wonderfully for them.
Oh yeah. I mean, I actually like the Wii for its small selection of good games like Sin and Punishment Star Successor. Yeah, that game was awesome. And don't even get me started on how much I love Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii.
Chronicles, I want to get it for the Switch, and the second one, Chronicles X, I definitely would not. I want to see brought into the Switch, along with other games that were on the DS and Wii U, like
and Radiant Historia would be great on the Switch.
Monster Hunters 3 and 4 Ultimate, I want on there. What to go along with Ultimate and Rise, just because. And what else?
Yeah, I've heard many great things about Radiant Historia. It's basically Chrono Trigger on steroids.
Nice. And other games. What else? I mean, Star Fox Zero, I hear, is kind of like but I wouldn't mind seeing it on the Switch, at least if it means getting rid of all the silly shit that they try to do with the Wii U, which kind of held it back.
And another underrated gem on the DS, Infinite Space. It's basically It's basically Mass Effect, but way better.
Ninja Gaiden Dragon Sword.
I totally play that.
And that game was originally meant for out of
the DS.
Yes, and it was by request from Itagaki's own daughter. He did it for her as a favor, And it
What?
added. I'm sorry, what?
Say that again.
Itagaki basically made Dragon Sword as a favor to his daughter, basically.
Because the games were too violent or something?
No, she wanted
no. The game's still pretty violent.
No, she wanted a Ninja Gaiden game on the DS, and he was like, "Say no more."
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
I mean the game's still pretty fucking violent as fuck. She just wanted Ninja Gaiden on the go.
I want to
Yeah.
see that game brought back upscaled.
Properly and with all the blood and gore included too. Like,
Yes.
seriously, I was about to get the whole Ninja Gaiden collection, but my god, they dropped the ball on it.
The problem with
Yeah.
I have with the Ninja Gaiden collection is that if you want the physical version, you have to go and order it off of Play Asia. Like, really, they basically pulled what Capcom did with Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. Like, why?
God damn it, Capcom!
Why digital? Just get if Japan could get it physical, why don't we? Especially when Devil May Cry 4 was actually the highest selling game of the series at that point. And it's like, really, Ninja Gaiden Trilogy, no physical edition here? Are you serious? Like, no. Give me the cartridge stateside, please. I don't want to go to the wiggle room of Play Asia when you could have easily brought it over here. And
give me the blood and guts of the new trilogy, please.
And not only that, they didn't even put all of the content there. It's like, hey, all that awesome shit from Ninja Gaiden Black and the 360 version of 2, where is it? Oh, we lost the data. We don't know. To me,
how do you lose fucking data?
Like, I know, right? It's like, yeah, bullshit. You just wanted to put you were looking for any reason to put the Sigma versions in there instead of actually, I do not believe for a second they lost all that data.
Source code, no.
Yeah, I don't.
I like
Sigma
Ninja Gaiden Black better than Sigma.
The only thing great about Sigma is the double swords and some extra bosses in Sigma 2. What I did not like, especially in Sigma 2, was the complete downgrading of the blood and gore. And outside of the extra weapons and bosses, I did not like how tame the violence was, how some of the puzzles got absolutely nerfed to being pretty much non-existent. And what was the other thing? Oh, yeah. I did not like how, at least in the 360 version of Ninja Gaiden, you could always, replay the game however you wanted with all of your saved equipment. To Sigma, can't even do that. You have to re-find everything back to the beginning. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah, that was just bullshit.
And when Itagaki left after that sexual harassment accusation, they pretty much nerfed everything to hell with number 3. It's like I was on a stream. Well, I was on the chat. I wasn't actually in the stream as we are now. But Weaponized Nerd Rage, the other day he was doing a Berserk stream and he mentioned Ninja Gaiden, and I mentioned how he gave me a shout out and he said, Mr. Kogan is right. Ninja Gaiden got soft without Itagaki. And they basically redid Ninja Gaiden 3 because nobody liked the base version of 3 because they took too much out. So they basically had to go and re-add in a bunch of shit a year later just to make it semi passable with the first 2 games.
They fucking neutered Ninja Gaiden. They were damn near ready to neuter. They were damn near ready to neuter Dead or Alive.
They pretty much have neutered Dead or Alive as far as the fan service goes.
Yeah,
not the fan service, the quality of it. It's not like a free-to-play game, but you have to pay for the game.
I mean,
it still have the same spirit as Dead or Alive 2.
The online for 6 is dead from what I heard. It's like the game's not even that old and no one's playing it.
I mean, at least we still got Dead or Alive Extreme Series. I mean, hot chicks in bikinis? Hell yeah.
Yeah, again, Play Asia, because the SJWs over here basically read it from being released through mainline channels.
Of course, it's always the fucking purple-haired land whales always bitching that they're hot, prettier girls than them.
And
people
I mentioned
are
it.
fawning over them.
And I mentioned it yesterday, and I told Black Sage D it today. The guy responsible for Red Ninja and Senran Kagura, dude, just take Senran 7 and have it on the Switch. Don't even bother. Just leave Sony entirely and continue the series on with Nintendo. You don't leave it in limbo hoping Sony lets you back in. Just go where the pasture is greener.
Splash on the Switch, please. I love Peach Beach Splash.
Yeah, just re-release past games and make all future games with Nintendo. You don't need to stick with Sony. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Sony at this point. They could die in a fire.
And Nintendo's censorship was really mostly not out of policy, but due to peer pressure in a lot of most instances, whereas Sony has done it basically themselves and several times and basically made it into official policy. They were not actually pressured into doing it like Nintendo was back in the old days. So if anything,
let that sink in. Nintendo only caved to pressure. Sony actively wanted to go all Palpatine on this censorship shit.
Yeah, and Microsoft pretty much went and fell in line behind them with the Gal Gun situation. But Detroit Otaku, he basically has written posts on Minds where he is absolutely right. Nintendo is not that much of the family-friendly company as their reputation has garnered them. They're actually pretty adult when you let them be adult.
Insert. I actually wish I actually had the articulation, charisma, and
articulation.
I wish I actually had the articulation and charisma of Razor Fist. I'm pretty autistic myself, so yeah.
I'm still laughing.
I think you could rule that one out there too, man.
I'm still laughing over his E3 video where he went into a tangent about Nintendo forgetting about Donkey Kong, and he basically he was like, we do not call Mario, we call him Jumpman. Mario is his slave name.
Oh yeah, that one got me dead too.
Oh yeah. Omega, hope I'm not taking over your stream. Anything you want to add?
That's okay, dude. That's okay, dude. I can kind of like enjoying you talk and whatnot, and this like hearing you guys talk, like basically like you have a lot to say around like the whole Ninja Gaiden situation, the whole Ichigaki. He's a good game creator, but Toei Tecmo doesn't make good games besides him.
Yeah, he tried to break out on his own with Devil's Third, but Devil's Third had like torturous development. I honestly feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I really feel bad for Tomonobu Itagaki myself too.
I think Tomonobu
is the norm against Japan's society. Haven't you noticed? If you look at pictures of him, he seems like a Japanese delinquent.
He kind of does. Well, with the leather, he looks like a heavy. He looks like he's right out of a heavy metal band with the hair and the leather.
Makes me love Tomonobu Itagaki, both as a game developer and as a Japanese dude, because dude's so fucking metal. He might as well be Japanese Razor Fist by all accounts.
Yeah, he's got the leather jacket and the shades to definitely go with it.
Speaking of which, I think Razor Fist, despite probably him not liking anime, he seems to have a lot of good opinions on entertainment.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he hates. I wouldn't say he hates anime.
He anime all that much. I mean, he does have a few favorites like Ronin Warriors, Iria Zerem the animation, Record of the Lotus War. Right. He also liked Berserk manga, and he also mentioned that he also acknowledged that Akira was really good, especially in manga form.
Yeah, it's just he has very
taste, but his anime rants, oh boy.
I think it's I guess it's the stigmas that he hates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more the
stigmas. How stigmas, how anime fans are weirdos, and how the modern art styles like high schoolers.
I would say
that's pretty much more the deal of his problem with anime these days. Way too much high school nonsense, not nearly enough space opera, dark fantasy, or cyberpunk.
Well,
Yeah.
In other words, similar to me. Which
I mean, it does kind of start to blend in a bit.
I will say, I kind of get Insert's idea that I'm actually I am Razor Fist, but I'm actually not. I wish I had the articulation and charisma of Razor Fist, but that's just me.
I would recommend others like Weaponized Nerd Rage and even Micah Curtis.
Oh, Micah Curtis is really good.
Yeah, I hate that both of them they both have they don't particularly like each other. Like that they're well, by their own admission, they're both assholes, basically. So that would explain a lot.
Hell, we're all assholes at this point. Hey, I'm an asshole, not freely admit it.
Yeah, it's kind of like it kills me where I see all these independent creators that are on a very similar spectrum, but they have a hard time getting along. It's like dude, like people just work on dethroning and replacing Hollywood and the big two, and
I
then
wouldn't mind that Combat Frame XIII cinematic universe.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I should invite him. Yeah, who's Micah, dude? GTA Driver. How's it going, GTA Driver? And both Micah and Omega share a love of mecha from what I've seen. Yes, I do, dude. Hey, is that I know that? What's that profile pic from again? I think I saw that anime before. Idolmaster, or is it like some sci-fi anime from 2000s? I don't know, but I remember seeing that face before. But
I'm pretty sure.
I love mecha anime ever since I saw Wing, and I don't get
I've been a mecha fan since before Wing hit its stateside. I mean,
I want to say it was Zoids that started it for me.
I was actually I actually got into mecha by way of games like Assault Suit Valken, otherwise known as Cybernator in its stateside. I'm also passively interested in Macross, otherwise known as first part of Robotech.
I want to say it was Zoids and Power Rangers that did it for me because,
Power Rangers was what made me huge in the mecha. That and Transformers too.
Cool, the robot dinosaurs.
Yeah, robot. Who doesn't love the Megazords? Megazoids. Man, I can't speak.
If you hate the Megazords, you're a fucking terrorist in my book. I'm fucking drunk.
Oh, thanks, GTA Driver. And also with mecha, I just love how the mechas are drawn in their mechanics and whatnot. I don't get why most modern Western anime fans, quotations, don't like mecha. Is it because
they're not real fans? They're fucking grifters. There's posers.
Tell me why they don't like mecha anime. Let me tell you why. Can I take over for a minute here?
Go ahead.
Why they don't like
robots now?
Is it because the robot and the humans like inside of a robot and pilot and controlling it from the inside? Or isn't the slow plot lines like Gundam or Macross, it's all dramatic? Or is it the robot takes that takes over the whole situation and gives it the spotlight as much or even more than the main characters? Or is it that you don't like cool looking shit?
If I have
have to go with all of the above.
If I have any problems with mecha anime these days, it's that a lot of them kind of imitate each other. You know, random schoolboy or civilian just ends up in the giant robot.
Gundam. Not to mention they're trying to be the next Evangelion.
Yeah, so it's like when they try to imitate each other too much, it's like they start basically repeating the same plot point. Like, for example, Valve Rave the Liberator.
Yup.
Random school kid or civilian just ends up in the giant robot. Haven't seen that in a million years. Hell, even Zone of the Enders is basically a Gundam plot, and it's basic.
Even Zone of the Enders is actually well done.
Yeah. Zone of the Enders 2 was better though.
Oh, Zone of the Enders, like, it kills me that number 3 never got made, despite Kojima and Konami constantly dangling it in front of us. Like, I
wish Kojima would actually get off his Death Stranding high horse and actively make a Zone of the Enders 3 or something of a spiritual successor to Zone of the Enders.
Like, I bought
Yoji Shikawa mech designs.
I bought the HD collection, limited edition 2, mind you, with the art book, because I thought, okay, they're doing what Capcom does with the Devil May Cry collections and other collections where they're trying to test the waters for another game. Everyone has been telling them we want a third game.
And then the corporate suits axed it.
So it's like both Konami and Capcom, they both have a thing where it's like they will release collections for specific games, and like maybe 1 or 2 of them will actually see the light of day. Like Devil May Cry 5, that came about. We've had like several Silent Hill games, each one worse than the other, but at the very least they tried to build hype around those with the 2 and 3 HD collection. Granted, it was a very bad HD collection.
I prefer Silent Hill as a trilogy. Other than that, nah.
So, when I thought when they released that double set of Zone, ZOE, I was like, okay, there must be a third game coming. Never came.
Damn.
So, yeah, there went that desire.
I love 2 though. I'd be in 1, but
Second Runner is one of the best mech games ever made, and I will die on a hill fighting.
Look at its ending, like basically how the game ends. Seriously, look at the final battle between what's his name again?
Dingo, Egret, and Nomen.
Yeah. Look how they teleport like Final Fantasy 15 versus 13 style. Like they're warping through a different dimension. They're like basically fighting in a different dimension.
There's like
and how that battle ends, like what I did for the final battle is that you can just easily just shoot, press the square button, or if you want to go flashy, just like the game. I like how the game basically how it ends. Like you can use any attack to end Bowman. If you can think about it.
I wanted a Zone of the Enders 3 where the heroes are actively fighting against the Earth Federation, who have become even more corrupt than ever before, and not to mention racist.
Yep.
I mean, think about that. How awesome would it be to be piloting Jehuti against an onslaught of Earth, now having its own orbital frames, and basically making Mars its bitch?
Jehuti's a cool mech. I like the design of that thing.
Yeah, Jehuti's one of my favorite mechs of all time.
I like how the battle ends with Bowman. It's like telling the player, it's instead of Dingo Egret killing him off in a cutscene, you, the player, do the act instead. How cool was that?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah, that was pretty dope.
Yeah, it's like telling the player, like Konami was telling you, hey, you the player, thanks for your patience and having fun with this game. Let you guys do the honors of killing him.
And it's not even a quick time event either, if I recall. It's like
it's basically on your own accord.
Like if you want to do a spirit bomb, go ahead, do it.
Oh, dude, you have no idea how many times I did the whole spirit bomb on Nomen, and hands down, holy shit, I was just like, one-handed spirit bomb here, bitch. Don't forget to write from hell.
I need to play the double set. I really do. I have it on my shelf somewhere. Yeah. Speaking of FMA, they're doing a special anniversary project. If it's anime, not interested because Vic wouldn't be in it. Oh yeah, they don't deserve. Like, leave FMA alone. It's done its story. It doesn't need any more.
Yeah. The original FMA was good. Brotherhood was good.
Brotherhood was awesome
leave it.
too.
Let's leave the old girl the rest.
Let me tell you something. I'm the fan that liked both the original and Brotherhood as equals.
For what killed the original for me was I didn't like the ending. They're stuck on our Earth and they don't go back.
Yeah. I mean, granted, it's impactful, but at the same time, it's just...
I did like the initial first couple of episodes where it's like, I did like, there are a few things the original did that I did like there better than Brotherhood, particularly in the early episodes that were close to the manga. Like when that one chick, what's her name? Rose, she thinks that Father Cornello brought her boyfriend back, but she goes into the room where he supposedly is, and he's not, well, he's basically this messed up chimera thing. Like you barely see him through the bedroom sheets, but you can clearly tell it's something that is not normal and not supposed to be there.
Not to mention Father Cornello's a snake oil salesman.
And when I watched Brotherhood, I was actually disappointed to see that scene was taken out, because I felt it made, Rose accepting, reality was more impactful. But then the rest of the show kind of, because the rest of the manga wasn't finished by that point, they kind of had to make their own thing. So Brotherhood more or less supplanted it by default by virtue of the fact it was more faithful to the source material.
Yeah.
That and Father was much more an intimidating villain than, let's say, Dante.
Yeah. Oh, Dante, I did not understand the presence of. Honestly, that's kind of where the original lost me. Like, who are you? Why are you here? What is your... None of this makes any sense. That's kind of like, it's like clearly when you run out of source material and you don't know what you're doing, shit happens. But I mean, I can respect those who like the original, like Omega does. Like, that's fine. Like I just said myself, I like some aspects of the original over Brotherhood that I wish were carried over into Brotherhood. Yeah. But if I had to choose between them, I would choose Brotherhood every day, every time.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, switching gears. What are your thoughts on like Black HD's views on like gatekeeping and whatnot? I agree.
Motherfucker is right on the money.
Because all you see on Twitter posts where people complain about anime, why the fuck you're watching it in the first place?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's a little too radical at times, but the general point is the same.
Time, motherfucker's so right on the money. He might as well be Black Razor Fist at this point.
Black Razor Fist, and people hating on him because he's right. Are you tired
I was
of
right.
seeing all these dumbass anime fan quotes on Twitter? My gosh! Like, speaking of Twitter, I need to delete the app off my phone, man.
Like a friend of mine on Twitter, he told me, think of gatekeeping more similar to bouncing, where it's like,
it's basically quality control as far as fandoms go.
Exactly. It's like, I understand the stigma of gatekeeping, from the negative standpoint, but at the same time, well, I mean, yes, I'm all for new people coming in. I liked seeing new people come in. I'm delighted to share what I know with a newcomer,
Yeah, but at the same time, you also have to make sure said newcomer isn't just joining for clout and isn't just a fucking poser.
Exactly.
Like, dude, one thing that
there's a reason why
the hell?
There's a reason why there are heavy metal elitists, because far more often than not, we get shitheads in the metal community clamoring for social justice in the metal community, or just generally recommending bands that suck, like Whitechapel.
Yeah, like
who's Whitechapel?
Whitechapel.
Who's Whitechapel, and is that?
Basically Charlotte? Just some really bad scenecore or band with really shitty death metal vocals. Basically,
like a stereotype of
band of posers.
Metal.
Like Lorena Creole. Lorena Creole. I recommend following her on YouTube and on Twitter. She was like, she broke the stereotype where she was like, I went to a comic shop, like one of the first times I went there. When I did, and I she was basically like, I got extra attention because I was a woman. So I replied, I said, yeah, because you're basically the thing that's the holy grail for a lot of geeky men. It's like you're an outsider who's pleasant coming in asking about the thing that they're interested in, and the fact that you're nice to them and they're nice to you, it's mutual respect. You respect what they're interested in and they respect you as a person. They do not want to hate you. They just do not want someone to come in and break their shit.
Exactly what I see on Twitter. We love people having new people that are interested.
Oh,
Look at me. I recommend people on stuff, and one guy quote tweeted me and said we need this.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
I recommended him some anime to watch. And read.
You could be like that hot chick that Alex just mentioned, or you could be the lead singer of Mercure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, hell, even when the Dana Loak, the former NRA spokeswoman, she turns out she's a budding anime fan herself, and she was asking for recommendations, and she's a goth chick by heart, so she's used to all that hardcore shit, and she is far from an SJW or even one of the opposite spectrum anyhow. So it's like,
yeah, it's like walking into seeing a majestic unicorn while walking in the forest.
It's like I said, it's like a geek girl of that caliber is like the holy grail for us men.
Geek girls, not the whole grifter girls that you see on Twitter.
Yeah, definitely not Zoe Quinn.
No, anyone but that one.
Nope.
So it's like be genuine is what we all want in the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else before we go?
Nothing much for
insert
me.
Here says Sage is. I understand Sage's point. I just think he could have been worded it differently, because viewed as quality control. Yeah, I agree. That's why I said how he words it makes him seem more radical than he probably means it.
Nothing much from me other than be excellent to each other and party the fuck on, dudes. And Razor Fist, if you happen to be watching this stream, call me.
Dude, I got blocked by Razor Fist long ago. Not because I got triggered.
Yeah, he can be egotistical in that regard.
Yeah, but then again, so is Tomonobu Itagaki at points.
Even freaking Kamiya.
Dude.
Ask Kamiya.
I just blocked him. Here's the fun part. He's known for blocking people. Guess what? I blocked him. I blocked him, dude.
Like that. I can't help but respect that.
Yeah, even as a Razor Fist fan, even as a Razor Force faithful, I respect that, good sir.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. I like Kamina's games. Viewful Joe, Vanquish. Oh, that was Shinji.
No, that was Shinji. Yeah, it needs a sequel.
Vanquish was awesome, dude.
Yeah,
sequel, please.
Exactly.
Yes.
Kamina's Viewful Joe, best game ever. Part 1, at least. But seriously, the guy is a dick. So instead of blocking him blocking me, I blocked him. Like that? Like them apples do?
Yeah, kind of like how I blocked Professor Otaku after I talked shit to him on Twitter.
Do you mean
that was before I got perma-banned on Twitter?
Do you mean, are you referring to Professor Otaku D2 as he's known on YouTube?
Very much. The very same douchebag.
Okay, I think I'm subscribed to him, but I don't know what the issue. What was your issues with him?
Oh, basically him being a SJW douchebag, talking shit about classic anime like Bubblegum Crisis, Venus Wars, saying G Gundam is racist and all that shit, and bitching about fan service us on the constant.
Like, I don't mind fan
With the
service.
review of Agent Ika. Yeah.
Like, I don't mind.
Agent Ika's not particularly that great an anime, but it's a fun anime if you like raunchy shit.
Like, with fan service for me, it's like I'm generally fine with it so long as it fits. Like, if the purpose is fan service, I'm for that.
Go ahead.
If Code Geass and Fairy Tail, yeah, fan service is part of the bargain with that one. But I can.
Clamps Designs or the anime designer for adapter of Code Geass, the fan service works.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fan service material.
There are a few times where there were admittedly a few times where I did feel they went overboard. Like, there's the one scene where the one nerdy chick is, who has
the table scene.
Yeah,
the table scene.
That was creepy and unnecessary, and I'd never want to see that again.
I don't think I've seen it, but goddamn, from what you described it, I'm like, where's Pyramid Head in all this?
I can be annoyed with it if it's done bad. Like, for example, Aiken. Like, I'm sorry, I cannot watch that because nobody in that looks right, if you get what I mean. So it's like, if the purpose was to entice me with fan service, you actually ended up doing the opposite as it would with other shows, because how badly proportioned some characters are, and I just can't take it seriously. I'd rather watch Who Wants to Be the Strongest in the World, that wrestling one. At least then they're all well proportioned and attractive.
Yeah, so switching gears here. Insert says opinions on Scandalations. I agree with Scandalations because one of my favorites of all time is Holy Land by Mori Koji, which is works, including Holy Land, that does not have an official English release. Like many of the Gundam mangas, Fist of the North Star, JoJo long ago,
Kingdom,
Hajime no Ippo,
5-star stories.
5-star stories, count that too. Scandalations I support, but here's the catch. You gotta buy the official version if you have the money to.
Yeah.
Support it.
And preferably if they're in good condition. Like, I hate it, especially in bookstores where some books or even manga will be like put on the shelf so badly, like the covers and pages have been crushed. Like, ugh.
Oh yeah, you have no idea how much that annoys me to no end.
Yep.
So
that's all to say for now.
Neji Maki Kagiyu.
Neji Maki Kaguya. Man, it's my weeb going on my head right now. So, but you ever heard the manga called Shigure Blood Frenzy?
Shigure
Blood Frenzy. I
feel like I have, but I can't remember.
Dude, it's insane. I love the manga. It's like a deconstruction of Bushido as a whole, samurai culture and Bushido as a whole. I haven't read such a dark and deconstructed take on Edo Japan since Lone Wolf and Cub.
So it's basically like, the whole Bushido idealistic stuff you think with anime. Yeah, no, these were basically gangsters with swords.
Yup, like Lone Wolf and Cub.
Lone Wolf, I've heard of that one.
Blood Frenzy, Shigure, very violent. Blood Frenzy is what Funimation did before they went to crap. Back in the day, they used to add Shigure Blood Frenzy. They add the Blood Frenzy part to make it more pop out. It's just Shigure. That's what it is.
So, overall, with the Crunchyroll situation, before I wager, I know you're trying to wrap it up, but before we do, what would you guys say Crunchyroll would have to do if they had to improve?
Yeah, what did you do? Would they improve? They survive all this? Fire the higher ups and hire people who know the business side of anime, as well as know people who know how to run a business or a streaming site.
Yep.
Yes.
And
I'm not talking about wokeness people. No, don't hire those.
Yeah, no, definitely do not hire those
like
people.
GTA Driver says here, clean house completely, fire all their higher ups,
Down,
downgrade or downside to like streaming anime for right now.
definitely
Focus
pay the
on,
creators,
like,
as you said.
And getting more titles.
Yep. And find a way to balance the profits where you are actually paying the anime studios while still having your share of the pie fairly, of course.
And look here. Here's another thing. Remember how Sentai Film? No, remember Sentai Filmworks when they helped Kyoto Animation a while back, and how they gained trust of the Japanese government for doing that. Instead of forcing your way into it, instead trying to reach out and help the Japanese anime industry by like,
don't be like that real Mao
Sentai Filmworks did.
Like, don't be like that real Maoist rebel douche and actively celebrate the death of people in the anime industry. Yeah, that's a douche move right there.
What are you talking about?
Oh, real Maoist rebel dude actually actively celebrated the burning of the KyoAni headquarters.
Oh yeah, when that ran basically some douchebag set fire to their studio, which caused several people to be injured.
I know that. Who was celebrating?
Oh, basically an SJW commie fuck.
That's disgusting, man. I'm not a big fan of Kyoto's works, but seeing those artists and whatnot, and seeing those people get perished in a fire like that, dude, that's just disgusting. Like, seriously, bro, if you want to help the industry, back on topic here, try reaching out, try sponsoring some anime events in Japan, or bring some try to get some rights to like some streams of like plays or whatnot as well as what are your suggestions? Other suggestions?
I definitely agree on the downsides a bit, where you're just focusing on, just focus on translating and voice acting faithfully stuff.
Yeah, not that localization bullcrap where you inject your own gender studies crap into it.
Yeah, don't try to juggle too many products, and actually pay attention to what your audience wants, because really, when everyone saw the presentation for High Guardian Spice, we did not see a product we wanted.
Hardcore fans.
What we saw was a vanity. What we saw was a vanity project by a bunch of ugly middle-aged feminists. That's what we all saw.
Yeah.
You didn't really tell us anything about it. You just told us about yourselves.
Exactly. Instead of the product they sold themselves, like.
Yeah, that's why High Guardian Spice fucking failed.
They killed their own show, believe it or not.
Yeah, like I'm fine with making something you want to, but you still have to sell it to people, because that's how business
man.
works.
I mean, that's kind of what guys like Kentaro Miura, the guy who made the Bastard manga, that's what they did.
Like, look at George Lucas.
They hustled, man. They fucking hustled.
Like, look at George Lucas. He made the story he wanted to tell, but he also knew how to sell it to people. And that's why Star Wars became a dominant juggernaut for 30, 40 years.
And
or Tomino Ani made Gundam originally. That was a toy commercial at first, but over time, it got the Star Trek treatment as well. It became a juggernaut on its own.
Yup.
Due to its fans, believe it or not, like the Star Trek series.
Always been faithful to the fan base,
and consistency with your universe and your work.
Yes, unlike Star Wars now.
No localization.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
No localization.
Star Wars
no
was
more.
Great until SJWs went and shat all over it.
Yep, you definitely need gatekeeping within your own industry when you think about it.
Yep.
Not just a fan base.
Mm-hmm.
No localization.
Bring the fucking swamp.
Exactly. You're fake news and you're fired.
Fake news, fired. You're fired. You fake news.
We'll build
get out of here. Get them out.
We'll build a great wall and we'll keep all the commies out.
I think we lost Omega Dude.
Yeah, we lost him. He'll be back. There he is.
So what was that?
I was
I'm
basically
back now.
we'll build the great wall and gatekeep all the woke skulls and commies out.
And all the woke skulls and commies will pay for it.
Yeah. They won't want to, though. Kind of goes against their twisted ideology.
Oh, we'll make them.
Give them a piece of their own medicine. Like, how's that for your socialism? Insert says
sorry, just doing a test.
No localization, no more Nagatoro controversies. Nagatoro is great, by the way. It's very hilarious. Yeah, I'm on the middle ground when it comes to localization, where it's like I don't mind it when it's done well. Just straight.
Exactly. It was kind of how old school dubbing companies used to do it.
Yeah, it's like
they were passionate enough to actively do it well.
Like even on the bad or the ones that we would consider bad by today's standards, like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes, 4Kids did a lot of stupid shit when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh, where the dubs and setting were concerned. But there were aspects that I actually thought were improvements on the original Japanese, like the music. Like the music in the English version fit the tone very well, and I did for the most part like the dubbing for the characters.
Yugi theme and the dueling thing when Yugi wins. I like that theme in the Japanese version. And it's original Japanese openings too.
I do like the Japanese openings as I do the English songs. I really do. So it's kind of like, pick your poison kind of thing. But if it were me, I would like a healthy balance where you have aspects of both. The good dubbing with the good music combined with, accurate translating and on all that. So, but back then it was like they were forced to do it, not because the company, it was like it was like what I mentioned with Nintendo. It was peer pressure basically.
Yeah.
But now it's like they're just doing it out of spite. So I'm for localization when it's done respectfully, for the most part. So I'm not hardcore pro it, but I'm not anti for it. It's just do it well is all I ask.
Exactly, man.
So in a way you could say I am pro, but only on the condition it's done well. Otherwise, just give it to somebody else who can do it well. So I'm in the middle when it comes to it.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX to Arc V are good subbed. Zexal's all-time favorite. I didn't really like Zexal that much, but I did like the episode with that was a tribute to the old monsters from Generation 1. But
I prefer Yu-Gi-Oh! Generation 1, to be honest.
GX was good. I actually surprisingly liked. I actually liked Arc 5, Arc V fine. It's just 4Kids kind of violated their scheduling contract, and they ended up losing the rights to the final season as a result, as punishment. So we never got a dubbed final season for GX, which crushed me.
Yep.
Thanks, Alfred Kahn.
And 5Ds, I wish the third season had been properly aired, because the ratings were all over the place on Kids WB at the time. And so they pretty much just chopped the season 3.
Anyone remember when we used to have Saturday morning cartoons?
Same here, dude. That was a different topic, dude.
I know.
Guess what? How it ended? What was the final Saturday morning cartoon? An anime. Believe it or not.
There was a great balance of both.
Near its end, like in the 90s throughout the 2000s and to its end, an anime basically was the last show. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal was the final Saturday morning cartoon ever aired.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah. What happened to Obama?
It's a joke, meaning thanks for ruining a good thing, is what he means.
Yes, in the Saturday morning cartoons.
They were
a good time to introduce. Not Pokemon. Wait, how you bring back Saturday morning cartoons?
Just air it and advertise it to the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, give what the kids want. Action, suspense, really cool characters.
I mean, what did we have back in the day? We had Batman, Spider-Man, fucking X-Men,
Power Rangers.
Yeah, Power Rangers.
Geeker.
There was even an Ultraman show when Fox Kids became the Fox Box, which
Tiga.
Yeah, I actually kick myself now for not paying attention to it at the time because I was jarred by the fact that they went at the time. I was jarred by the fact that Fox Kids just got turned into a different brand. So I was like, "What is this? What happened to everything I liked? It's all gone." So when I saw that, I was like, I don't know if it was the I don't like change phase, because you're used to a certain thing for so long. Anything that comes around and replaces it is kind of like foreign to you. So now when I think back on it, I'm like, I should have watched more of that. I think I saw maybe one episode of Ultraman Taiga and being casually amused by what I saw. Like, okay, it's kind of like Power Rangers, but it's not Power Rangers at the same time. But what really hooked me was the 2000.
It's actually better than Power Rangers, if you ask me.
Yeah, I need to look it up.
Ultraman mark.
And speaking of which, Ultraman's popularity is growing. You could probably, if they was Saturday morning still, they would have aired like Ultraman Orb, Ultraman Z, I call it.
I need to get the 7. I need to get the 7 steel books that have come out for the original series. I need those.
Yeah, I would totally love for Ultraman Nexus to come stateside. I mean,
what converted me finally was the 2003 Ninja Turtles. That was where I finally was like,
the best Turtle series ever.
Thank you.
Yes.
Same here, my fellow 2000 kids. Like, basically, I loved 03. The first 3 seasons were great.
It did have its ups and downs after a while, but I still loved it.
Yeah, same here. That was the definitive Turtles.
Go on record saying 03 Ninja Turtles is way better than the classics.
03 was the perfect blending of the humor of the old show and while blending the seriousness of the comic books. It was like the ultimate mix of both.
Exactly, dude.
Bingo.
I've heard
shouldn't we be signing off?
Yes, we should do that. I was about to say that. So that's all to say for now, people. If you enjoy this podcast, please share all over the internet. Please leave a like and please leave a comment in the comment box selection. And sorry I have to close it, signing off because my throat's getting dry. And
it happens.
And I have to say for now, hope you enjoy this podcast episode. That's all to say for now. Peace.
Peace. Later.